A school bully picks the wrong black victim? He thought he could push him around forever, until one day he snapped. In front of the whole school, the tables turned in a way no one saw coming. Stay tuned. Jace Holloway hated Monday mornings. It wasn't just because of school. It wasn't because of the boring classes or the pop quizzes. It wasn't even because of the heavy textbooks in his backpack that dug into his shoulders. No, it was because of Caleb Stryker. Caleb was everything Jace wasn't: big, loud, popular, and worst of all, untouchable. He was the type of kid who walked down the hall like he owned the place, high-fiving football players, laughing with cheerleaders, and shoving weaker kids out of his way like they were nothing. And Jace was the nobody in the hall. The one who people barely noticed until Caleb made sure they did. The nerd. The easy target. And today, like clockwork, Caleb was already hunting. Wait a second. Tell us where you're watching from in the comments. And don't forget to subscribe for more powerful stories like this. Jace was halfway to his locker when he heard it. The heavy footsteps, the low chuckle, the familiar voice dripping with cruelty. Well, look who it is, Caleb sneered. Jace froze. He turned just in time for Caleb's massive hand to slam into his shoulder, spinning him around. The hallway seemed to go silent, eyes turning toward them as students stopped to watch, because that's what always happened. When Caleb picked a target, people watched. Not to help, just to see the show. Jace clenched his jaw, gripping his books tighter. "Leave me alone, Caleb." Caleb smirked, stepping closer. "Aw, did the little nerd just tell me what to do?" The crowd snickered. Jace knew how this went. It was a game to Caleb. He'd push and push and push, waiting for Jace to snap or break. It didn't matter which, as long as he got his fun. Jace turned away, walking toward his locker, refusing to give him the reaction he wanted. But Caleb wasn't done. Jace felt the hard shove against his back before he even saw it coming. His chest slammed into the lockers, a loud metallic bang echoing through the hallway. The crowd gasped. Jace staggered, catching himself before he fell. His heart pounded in his chest, rage bubbling beneath his skin. Not today. Not anymore. Oops. Caleb's voice was dripping with mock innocence. "Didn't see you there." The crowd laughed. Jace's hands curled into fists at his sides. He could feel the heat rising in his body, feel the anger clawing at his chest. He was done. Done being the easy target. Done being the kid who just took it. But he had to be smart. He turned, meeting Caleb's mocking eyes, and did something he'd never done before. He smiled. That threw Caleb off. Just for a second. Jace picked up his books, dusted himself off, and walked away. Not yet. But soon. Jace had a secret. One that Caleb Stryker, and everyone else in this school, had no idea about. For the past 6 years, Jace had been training in martial arts. Not the after-school karate, kind where kids learned how to do a couple of kicks, and then got a belt for showing up. No. Jace trained in real combat. Muay Thai, Jiu-Jitsu, boxing. His uncle had been a professional fighter before an injury took him out of the ring. When Jace was 10, his mom signed him up for training, thinking it would help him with his confidence. It did more than that. It made him dangerous. Jace could break a person's nose in under 3 seconds. He knew how to disarm, counter, and drop a full-grown man twice his size. But he had never, not once, used it at school. Because he knew what would happen. The moment he fought back, everything would change. And that's exactly what he wanted. 3 days passed. 3 days of Caleb's usual games. Tripping him in the cafeteria. Smacking his books out of his hands. Calling him every name in the book. Nerd. Loser. Wannabe. But today was different. Today, Caleb made his biggest mistake. It happened in the main hallway, right before lunch. The school was packed, students flooding the halls, voices echoing off the walls. Jace was heading to class when, bam! He barely had time to react before Caleb grabbed his shirt, yanking him backward. "Where you going, Holloway?" Caleb grinned, shoving him against the lockers again. "I didn't say you could leave." The crowd gathered fast. Jace stared at him, heartbeat slow, controlled. He could feel the energy shifting, the familiar adrenaline rush coursing through his veins. "Come on, nerd," Caleb taunted, his voice louder now, feeding off the attention. "Say something. Cry. Do that thing you always do where you look like you're about to piss your pants." The crowd laughed. But Jace wasn't laughing. His eyes locked onto Caleb's stance, wide, unbalanced, sloppy. His right foot was too far forward. His weight was off. He was open. Wide open. And then Caleb made his biggest mistake yet. He reared back his fist. He was actually going to punch him. Jace had 1 second to decide. He didn't hesitate. Snap. The moment Caleb's fist came forward, Jace moved. Fast. Before Caleb even realized what happened, Jace stepped to the side, grabbed his wrist, and twisted. The movement was flawless. Fast. Fluid. Brutal. A second later. Boom. Caleb's striker was in the air. And then, slam. He hit the ground hard, the wind rushing out of his lungs as his back smacked against the hallway floor. The entire hallway went dead silent. No one had ever seen Caleb lose before. Jace stood over him, calm, controlled. He could see the shock, the confusion, the fear flashing across Caleb's face. He wasn't laughing anymore. Jace bent down, his voice low, steady. "You're gonna leave me alone now." Caleb's face went red, his hands trembling as he pushed himself up. His mouth opened, probably to yell, threaten, save face, but Jace didn't wait to hear it. He picked up his backpack, turned, and walked away. The hallway exploded. Gasps. Shouts. Whispers. The school's biggest bully had just been put in his place. And for the first time in his life, Jace Holloway wasn't nobody anymore. Caleb Stryker didn't show up to school the next day. Or the next. People whispered about it in the halls. Jace Holloway had put Caleb on the floor. And not just any fall, a hard, humiliating, no coming back from this fall. No one had ever done that before. At lunch, kids stared at Jace like he was someone new. They moved out of his way now. No one tripped him in the halls. No one knocked his books down. For the first time since he had walked into North Ridge High, Jace felt something he had never felt before. Respect. But he knew better than to believe it was over. Because someone like Caleb, he didn't take losses well. If you're enjoying this story and want to hear more, hit that subscribe button now. Don't miss out. 2 days later, Caleb returned. Jace knew something was up the moment he walked into the school. The energy in the air felt different. There were too many whispers. Too many eyes watching him. It was coming. And sure enough, it did. Jace had barely made it past his second period class when his phone vibrated in his pocket. A text. Unknown number. Parking lot. Now, Jace exhaled slowly. Caleb wasn't going to let it go. And Jace, he was ready. The moment Jace stepped into the parking lot, he knew. This wasn't just Caleb. He had backup. 3 of them, standing in a loose semicircle, waiting. Big guys. Football players. Muscle, not skill. Caleb stood in the middle, arms crossed, his face twisted in rage. No smirk this time. No jokes. Jace stopped a few feet away, calm. Steady. "You should have stayed down, Stryker," he said. Caleb's fists clenched. "You embarrass me." Jace tilted his head. "No, Caleb. You embarrassed yourself." The guys around him shifted. Caleb's eyes burned. "You think you're tough?" Caleb spat. "Let's see how tough you are when it's 4 against 1. Jace sighed. "You really don't want to do this." Caleb charged. "Big mistake." Jace moved like lightning. He sidestepped, hooked Caleb's leg, and swept him off his feet. Boom. Caleb hit the pavement hard. The other guys lunged. Jace had spent years training against multiple attackers. He knew how to move, counter-strike. One grabbed his arm. Jace twisted, threw an elbow to the ribs, then flipped him over his shoulder. Another rushed. Jace dodged, struck his knee, sent him toppling. The last guy hesitated. Caleb groaned, clutching his ribs, eyes wide with shock. Jace stood over him. Calm. Controlled. Unshaken. "This is over," he said. "You lost." Again. Caleb's jaw tightened. But he didn't move. Jace turned. Walked away. The crowd had gathered by now, wide-eyed, whispering. And as Jace stepped back inside the school, he knew one thing for certain. He was never going to be a target again. And Caleb Stryker? He had just lost his throne. Subscribe now if you love this story. Want more action-packed takedowns and thrilling stories? Don't miss out. Hit that subscribe button and stay tuned for the next epic showdown.